Fall weather is here, lacrosse getting ready for their fall season, and we're giving you an opportunity on Cards TV to get to know some of the new members of the coaching staff. I'm Sean Moth. Good to see you again. This is Victoria Latino, one of the new assistant coaches here at UofL, and Victoria, it's great to see you.
Very nice to see you. Thank you.
So let's get to know you. Let's talk about it. Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in New Jersey. Born and raised there. This is actually the first time I'm living out of the state, so
Okay.
it's a pretty big step.
As you got into sports as a child and as a high schooler, was it always lacrosse, or was it a
No.
number of different sports?
I played soccer for a little bit, but mostly basketball.
Okay.
I didn't start playing lacrosse until I was a sophomore in high school.
All right, and then your interest obviously carried you to play some college lacrosse. Talk about that process.
I actually didn't really think about it much until I was a senior, and my coach was like, you should really think about it, see if you can gain some interest. And so I put some tapes out there, and some people started biting on it, and Manhattan was the right choice, so got to play D1, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Only playing for 3 seasons was a pretty big deal for me. When I got there, it was sort of like, oh boy, but it was fun. It opened my eyes to the sport and how much I really did love it.
Sure.
And that's really kind of where I started thinking maybe this is something I'd like to pursue a little bit.
Describe yourself as a player. What were your best attributes? What made you a good player?
Probably my aggressiveness.
Okay.
I've never really had the best stick skills.
Sure.
Being only 3 years playing, I didn't really develop that until much later, but I was super aggressive, and playing basketball I understood the defense a little bit, so they stuck me down there, and the smarts of the basketball combined with the aggressiveness made me.
A lot of times people want to compare lacrosse and field hockey or lacrosse and soccer, but you mentioned basketball. Is that maybe a better translation to compare the sports?
I think so, especially with the defensive side. It's
Sure.
a lot of angles, and when you have kids who play basketball, you see they sort of understand the defensive part of it and moving their body, and we definitely refer to it as a melting pot of all sports. You have soccer influence and basketball and a little bit of field hockey, ice hockey too.
Yeah.
So it's everything's kind of combined.
Sure. As you finished up your career, it seemed like coaching was obviously the move you wanted to make. Was it something you expected, or were you kind of stumbled into, I guess this might work out pretty well?
Actually, not until after I had my first job. I got a marketing job. And I was there, and it was 9 to 5, and I was like, this is not for me. Stuck behind a desk all day, it just was not for me. So I left there, and I'm like, well, I'm going to try coaching. Fell in love with it. And I started at the high school level, and then got involved with club, and took the leap to college, which was definitely the right move.
Yeah. And a fast track for you at a pretty young age.
Very, very.
When you came here to the University of Louisville, what were some of your first impressions? Because we talked with your coworker Christy about how we kind of like to think we have a nice place here, but you never know. You don't gain a lot of perspective. What were your first thoughts?
I couldn't believe it. Every time they showed me something different, I was in awe, and I still am. I mean, I still see things, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, it just never stops here.
Yeah.
And coming from where I was coming from, it was an insane change.
Yeah.
I walked here and I was like, wow, this is just where I want to be.
I guess it's safe to say that the resources here to win a national championship it's not just talk. I mean, it's legitimate.
Oh, they have every resource they need to win a championship, and that's what is expected. And so for us who are super aggressive, like Christy and myself, and Kelly, that's what's so fun about it, is we have everything that we need. Now we just have to put everything in place.
Talk about your role with the team as an assistant coach.
I take more of the defensive side of everything,
Sure.
a little bit of recruiting. Christy and I kind of split the recruiting. What else do I do? I would say, like, from day-to-day basis, it's more defensive stuff,
Sure.
and just kind of making sure that the girls are where they need to be, and that we're ready for practice and game day. And
we talked about the melting pot. We kind of throw it over to football now because we kind of have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator, and that it seems to really work well to be able to clearly define the roles like that.
It's so much easier.
Yeah. You don't have a lot of spare time. I've been around student athletes and coaches to know that there's not a lot, but when you have that spare moment, what are some of the things you like to do?
Just like to hang out, watch TV, do the things that people get to do every day that we don't. Hang out with my friends, and obviously my family's not here, so when I get the chance to do that, I'll definitely be going home and hanging out with my family a little bit.
All right, Victoria, we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Hope you've had a chance to get to know her just like I have. We certainly appreciate your time as well, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time right here on Cards TV.